Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Video 2 of the series I'm doing for the Art of Music Academy. I will discuss more about that later, but in the first video you would have seen, if you haven't, please watch it. But the first video I showed the two aspects of creating, and that is one, creating from a limited creative cycle, and two, creating from an unlimited imaginative cycle. And I showed in that video how we can fall out of that inspired, imaginative, creative place we have, our artistic mind, you could say. And when we fall out of that into a limited creative cycle, which is where, as I demonstrated in the intro there, where frustration is born, where limited creativity comes from, where giving up comes from, where artistic creative blocks come from, where anything that doesn't allow our imagination to fire is shifting into a limited creative cycle. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to move from that back into the imagination. Now, I will quickly discuss why the imagination is so important, and that is the place where we want to be when we're learning something, when we're creating music on the guitar or creating music in general. If we're writing a new album, if we're writing a song, we want to have our focus in that imaginative, or well, let's call it, for the sake of this video, imaginative focus versus limited focus. So, again, limited focus meaning you can't break through you get to a certain level with your creativity and that's it. It's limited. It's capped off. Now, the difference between that and imagination is your imagination is unlimited. You are free to imagine anything you want. So when it comes to learning an instrument, or when it comes to creating, that's where we want to be, because it has no limitation. Now, how do we do that? The first thing we need to do is identify if we are indeed in a limited creative cycle. Now, it's going to become pretty obvious because most times it's going to be either giving up, getting so frustrated that you're trying to force the music, or you pretty much just have lost inspiration. And that is the key. Inspiration is the key to getting back into that unlimited creative process and cycle. Now, why is inspiration so important? Well, it was like in the first video I discussed, when you're inspired, you automatically switch into imagination, because inspiration doesn't come from something you don't love or don't enjoy or don't like. That just is mundane. You're not inspired to get up and go and dig a hole in the backyard unless you want to get fit. But, inspiration's the key, because when we're inspired, it gets our creative imagination firing. So let's say I've got no inspiration, I've lost my inspiration, I'm struggling to learn, even if it's I'm struggling to learn a pentatonic scale, or I'm struggling to learn a song that I really love, and I'm just getting so frustrated that I really want to give up. Now, two things. One is, sometimes there is a time to put down the guitar or to stop and just to go and recalibrate and find that inspiration, because you can't force music, okay? You can't force it. You have to allow it, okay? The imagination allows, but the limited belief cycle forces, and we don't want to force. So let's say you've lost your inspiration, practice sucks, you're not writing. Okay, you've put the guitar down. Now, the way to get yourself back is through the power of imagination. So what you do is this. I'll give you this and I'll show you simply on the guitar. I've got an open tuning here, which I love, but let's say you're just learning open tuning. And you've opened your workbook up and it says how to finger pick. And you straight away, the normal road we take is we either get on YouTube and look, how do I finger pick? Which I don't completely agree with. Or we go to a workbook and we have something external. Now that's fine because we need to understand the mechanics. Okay, let's say you understand the mechanics. Before you enter into doing, do this. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself doing the very thing you want to learn, right? Don't imagine yourself struggling. Don't imagine yourself having difficulties. Why would we do that? Imagine yourself with your fingers flowing over the strings. This is before you actually apply. Imagine the outcome you want to achieve. So I would sit there and I would go, okay, what's it going to sound like when I get it right? What's it going to feel like? This is all imagination, right? Just imagine all of those sensations that come with doing something exactly how you want it, the outcome to be. So before I apply, I imagine. Now what this is, I know this might sound weird, or why would I do that? But why you're doing it is this. When you get into imagination, all of those beliefs, all of those limitations fall away because you're not going to imagine struggling. You're not going to imagine having difficulty. Now, it's not some esoteric crystal hugging thing. What it is you're refocusing, right, to what you want to achieve. And you're refocusing through the power of your imagination, which is where all artistic expression lives. So all you're doing is shifting focus. When you've seen that outcome, okay, when you've imagined that outcome, before you apply, just confirm, okay, that's the end result I'm going for, because we need to have 2 points. And I'll explain this in the next video, but we need to have 2 points of orientation, where we are and where we want to get to. And I call that the end result. Where we are is current reality. I don't know how to finger pick properly, or I've never finger picked before. The outcome I want is I want to finger pick with flow so it sounds great. I want to finger pick like a pro, okay? That's your end result. We have to have those 2 points, 2 reference points. Otherwise, your brain's going to slip into what it knows, and what it knows can be limiting. What it doesn't know is the imagination, so we hand over to imagination. So you need to imagine the end result you want, then choose it. Righto, that's what I'm going for. The reason we choose it is because what happens, and a classic example is this. I'm going to use, if any of you know effects pedals, I'm going to use this as a, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. When you have too many options, you end up taking none, okay? Now, if you don't choose one outcome, okay, like an effects pedal that's got 500 different sounds, you'll sit there for hours. No, that's not the sound. Oh, is that the sound? No, that's not the sound. And what's happened is we have no end result. We have no focal point. So when you choose an end result, in this case, the end result is I am going to finger pick, and I'm going to go through the cycle once. I'm just going to try this. I've imagined the outcome I want, and I'm now applying. So you actually execute, you do the thing that you're going for. Now, here's the beauty of imagination. It doesn't mean you're going to get it perfect the first time. What it means is this: whether you get it perfect or not, doesn't matter. What matters is you've done a loop of the imaginative creative cycle, and that's where the power is. So I apply. Oh, that wasn't it. I don't care, because I'm not in that shitty cycle I was in before. Okay, that's not it. Oh, or like that. Okay, I've got the down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. oh wow. See, those oh wow moments are the moments where you inspire yourself to take another shot, to practice a little bit more, to not give up. But if I had approached that practice from, I'm going to get this, I've got 10 minutes. Fuck. Nah, I'm hopeless. I'm not musical. I give up. There's the difference, right? The difference is this. It's not that you got it and it's perfect the first time round. It's that you've just taught yourself that getting into your imagination and practicing or learning from there will serve you far better than forcing and knowledge and I'll look at another YouTube video and I'll do this or that. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is shift your focus to the imaginative creative cycle. Imagination, imagine doing it, imagine the outcome or the end result you want, choose it, right, that's what I'm going for. I'm going to finger pick for 10 minutes, I'm going to just finger pick. And then, might take a week, might take 2 weeks, might take a month, it doesn't matter. What you're doing is engaging and you're growing something that if you don't use it, you'll lose it. And your imagination is the most powerful tool you have as an artist. And you need to nurture it and feed it. And if you don't, you will limit your creativity. In the next video, I'm going to talk to you about what I call structural tension or creative tension. And that meaning that there's a natural tension in everything. When we have an end result and when we have our current reality in relation to that end result, in between those 2 points and polarities, there becomes tension. And if you realize that creative tension isn't stress, it might appear as that, but when you feel that, you know that you're moving out of something you know to something you want to either learn or create. And if you can learn to live in creative tension and your art comes from creative tension and keeping that tension, then you know you're moving towards what you want to get, who you want to be as a musician, what you want to write. All of that in the next video. This is coming to you now from the Art of Music Academy. I will elaborate a little bit more, but it's a little bit too early. I do want to tell you so much about it, but you will start seeing retreats come up on a lot of my YouTube videos, things like that. Baby steps. I'm staying in attention, creating the Art of Music Academy. You stay in attention, writing your next album or learning the guitar or anything as an artist. And I will see you next video. Take care. Bye-bye.